Hey everyone, welcome back to Secure Your Benefits, your trusted source for everything you need to know about Social Security. Today we're diving into a topic that affects millions of Americans but doesn't always get the attention it deserves. How divorce impacts your Social Security benefits. If you're divorced, thinking about divorce, or just want to understand your rights and options better, this video is going to give you the full picture. So make sure to stick with us until the end. Divorce can bring a lot of uncertainty, emotionally, legally, and financially. But one thing you shouldn't be confused about is how your Social Security benefits work after a divorce. In fact, in some cases, you may actually have more options than you realize. So let's break it all down. Let's start with a simple but important fact. If you were married for at least 10 years, you might be eligible to collect Social Security benefits based on your ex-spouse's work record even after a divorce. That's right, you don't need to still be married to receive spousal benefits. As long as the marriage lasted a full decade and you haven't remarried, you could qualify to receive up to 50% of your ex-spouse's full retirement benefit. Now, let's say your ex is already receiving Social Security benefits and you've been divorced for at least 2 years. If you meet the age requirements currently, age 62 or older, you can begin collecting based on their record, even if your ex hasn't applied for their own benefits yet. This rule ensures that one spouse can't intentionally delay the other's access to benefits by holding off on filing. A lot of people worry that if they collect on their ex-spouse's record, it will somehow reduce what that person receives. That's not true. Your decision to claim benefits on your ex's record has no impact on their benefit amount or on any benefits that may be paid to their current spouse if they've remarried. So there's no reason to feel guilty or hesitant. This is your right under the law. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, you have to be unmarried. If you get remarried, you generally lose the ability to collect benefits on your ex-spouse's record. There are some exceptions, especially if that second marriage ends in divorce or death. But as a general rule, remarrying cuts off your eligibility based on your previous spouse's work history. Another important point is that you'll only receive the spousal benefit if it's higher than what you'd receive based on your own record. Let's say you qualify for $700.00 a month based on your own work history, but you're eligible for $1,000.00 based on your ex-spouse's record. In that case, you receive the $1,000.00. But if your own benefit is higher than what you'd get from your ex's record, then you just receive your own. Now, let's talk about survivor's benefits. This is where things get especially important for divorced individuals. If your ex-spouse passes away and your marriage lasted at least 10 years, you may be entitled to survivor's benefits just like a widow or widower would be. These benefits can be up to 100% of your deceased ex-spouse's benefit amount. And again, they don't affect any benefits paid to current spouses or other survivors. Here's where timing matters. You can begin collecting survivor's benefits as early as age 60 or age 50 if you're disabled. But keep in mind that starting early will reduce the monthly amount. If you wait until your full retirement age, you can receive the full survivor's benefit amount. And just like with spousal benefits, if you remarry before age 60 or before age 50 if you're disabled, you generally lose your eligibility for survivor's benefits based on your ex-spouse. But here's a planning tip many people don't know about. You might be able to switch between benefits to maximize your total lifetime payout. For example, if you're eligible for survivor's benefits from a deceased ex-spouse, you could start collecting those at age 60 and then switch to your own higher retirement benefit later on, say at age 70, when it reaches its maximum value. Or vice versa, if your ex-spouse had a higher benefit than you, you might delay taking the survivor's benefit until full retirement age to get the full amount. At Secure Your Benefits, we always recommend running the numbers carefully or speaking with a Social Security specialist before making these decisions. Timing matters a lot, and the strategy you choose can affect how much money you receive over your lifetime. Let's also cover the situation where your ex-spouse has not yet claimed benefits. Many people think they can't apply unless their ex has already started collecting Social Security, but the rule is actually different for divorced spouses. If you've been divorced for at least 2 years and your ex is eligible for benefits, even if they haven't claimed yet, you can still apply based on their record. This is known as independently entitled divorced spouse status, and it's something the Social Security Administration takes into account. As of 2025, the full retirement age is 67 for people born in 1960 or later, and that matters when calculating your benefits. Claiming spousal or survivor's benefits before full retirement age results in a reduced monthly check. For example, claiming a divorced spousal benefit at age 62 means you get 70% of the full amount rather than the full 50% you'd receive if you waited until 67. The same concept applies to survivor's benefits. The earlier you claim, the smaller the monthly amount. One of the most frequent questions we get on Secure Your Benefits is whether you need to have contact with your ex-spouse to access these benefits. The answer is no. You don't need their permission, and you don't even need to tell them you're applying. The Social Security Administration can access their records as long as you provide some basic information like your ex's name, date of birth, and Social Security number if you have it. And if you don't have that information, don't worry. The SSA may still be able to help you if you can provide details like where your ex was born, where they worked, or any other identifying information that helps track their records. Another common concern is whether multiple ex-spouses can claim benefits based on the same person's record. And the answer is yes. If each marriage lasted at least 10 years, the benefits are calculated independently and do not reduce the amount the worker receives, nor do they reduce what each ex-spouse receives. So theoretically, someone who was married 3 times for over 10 years each could have 3 different ex-spouses collecting benefits based on their work record, and none of them would impact the others. Let's also not forget those who go through divorce later in life, sometimes called gray divorce. This group is growing rapidly, especially among people age 50 and older. For them, understanding these rules becomes even more essential because Social Security might be one of the few stable sources of retirement income. If you are facing a divorce after decades of marriage, it's critical to protect your eligibility for benefits. Make sure the 10-year threshold is met before the divorce is finalized, if possible, and understand how remarriage could affect your future claims. And finally, let's touch on taxes. Just because you receive Social Security benefits doesn't mean they're always tax-free. If you have other sources of income like a pension, IRA withdrawals, or part-time work, your benefits might be subject to federal income tax. This applies whether you're receiving your own benefit, spousal benefits, or survivor's benefits. It's important to plan for this, especially if you're budgeting for retirement. For 2025, if your combined income exceeds $25,000, 0 cents as an individual, or $32,000, 0 cents as a couple, a portion of your Social Security benefits could be taxable. This is especially relevant for divorced people who may have both their own income and a benefit based on an ex-spouse's record. At Secure Benefits, we always recommend discussing this with a tax professional so you're not caught off guard. So, to wrap things up, here's what we want you to remember. Divorce does not automatically cut you off from Social Security benefits tied to your ex-spouse. If the marriage lasted at least 10 years and you meet the age and marital status requirements, you have rights whether your ex is alive or deceased. And claiming benefits based on their record won't hurt them, won't affect their current family, and doesn't require their permission. Your Social Security benefits are an important part of your financial future, and understanding how divorce affects those benefits can help you make better, more confident decisions. If you're unsure about your eligibility or how much you might receive, don't hesitate to reach out to the Social Security Administration or a qualified benefits advisor. And of course, keep watching Secure Your Benefits for clear, reliable updates that put your financial future first. Thanks for joining us today. If you found this information helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can learn how to protect what they've earned. And as always, we'll be back soon with more updates to help you secure your benefits.